Hi, everybody. Let's see if everything's working, and then we can get started with day 1990, right? 990. We're getting very close to 2000 days. Um, okay, make sure. Oh, gosh, really quick today. That's good news. Everything's working well. Um, so let's put this so it's not so distracting. All right. It has been a great weekend. Great week. A great weekend with a lot of information coming in. Matter of fact, we have breaking news today on day 1990. Every day seems to be a day with breaking news. Every day for these almost 2000 days. And that's not hype. That is not over exaggeration. That is not, I want to use all these synonyms. This is, it's not trying to get clicks because, number one, we're not monetized. So, it's not for money. Um, it's just the truth. Every day seems to be breaking news. Breaking news. And this week, the news is so big. We have such big breaking news in our son's case with the hard evidence that we possess of the breach in security, the breach into the narcotics database, intelligence database. So let me say that again. We have hard evidence of a breach in the narcotics intelligence database. We filed on that now. So, because it is, um, that means they have who's a whistleblower, who are informants, who are agents working on certain cases, what are the activities on certain activities, actions on certain cases. Um, you know, it puts a lot of lives at danger. And who has that breach? The cartel, the Mexican criminal organizations. They have breached our narcotics intelligence database. That is huge breaking news for this week. And yet that was just one breaking news, and that is huge. And we're reminding people about the raid on Plenitude Crematorium that is ongoing, where over 400 bodies were found rat infested, no power, no water, no license, owned by people that live in El Paso, next to Beto O'Rourke, multiple houses, multiple businesses. Um, because I want you to understand that these people are very well connected to El Paso, Texas, to the United States. And here, a jump across the border, uh, they have property that is flesh peddling. I think flesh peddling is the best way to describe what they're doing in a very sacrilegious way, where all you see is a rotting bodies, rat infested, mold and mildew. Um, um, it, and to think that I have to stay calm, I have to stay um, focused when the evidence indicates that um, part of our son, because of course they were, um, the indications are the organ harvesting, right? That parts of our son ended up at this place. Um, and of course, the owners lived right next to uh, Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke uh, seems to be, his name is just popping up all over the place, right? Popping up all over the place. Why was that? Why is that happening? Um, it seems that, at that time he was trying to be president. Is he like in this vicious pursuit of the White House? Is that what this is? And he wouldn't stop at anything, and he wanted to destroy his main opposition, which was President Trump, right? Which is President Trump. And that leads to the confirmed orchestration of the Walmart mass shooting, with a fake narrative that he pushed. He went to the hospital, to this criminal, um, victim of what happened, and but pushing this false narrative. And I have a lot of questions about his situation, Ernest Christopher Grant, because he seems to be a liar, 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 criminal, criminal, criminal. He's been arrested now, so that's good. Um, so what is our breaking news? Well, let's start. 1,990 days since our son Richard was forcibly removed out of his barracks room, taken down to the basement room in his building, to the arms room, which is a soundproof room, and his life was taken from him. And this was an institutional, like a code red, so institutional sanctioned silencing there at Fort Bliss. And we have, filed, we've collected, we investigated because they told us to investigate and bring them leads. Otherwise, they couldn't help us. So we took them seriously at that, and we started investigating. And of course, they did some asymmetric warfare tactics. I kid you not, asymmetric warfare tactics was not in my vocabulary, okay? How did I learn that? Because we caught our CAO, Casualty Affairs Officer, who they assigned to our case, who was an asymmetric warfare officer, conducting asymmetric warfare tactics against us. We caught him, and we've submitted that information as well. So, I can't lie to you. This is a JAG operation. This is MPs. We've caught MPs from Fort Bliss. Something, it's like, who's that human resources that puts these compromised individuals right there on our border, on our military post, um, creating a national security threat and a threat to every service member that gets stationed there at Fort Bliss. I mean, who in human resources is doing this? Because someone in human resources is putting Clem Coward there. And then, of course, Colin Winton gets to stay, and someone put Sean Bernabe there, and someone put Michael Roddick there, and someone put David Park there, and someone put Jay Pollan there, and someone put Michael Ruggiero there, and someone put James Hart at the VA, and these Bradford Bugado, these are, their tenure there is very long. And, it has to be for all of those, who put Mario Raskin Ortiz in his place. He's a medical examiner, $500,000 a year about. And we know who did it. It was Veronica Escobar. So, they had a very a criminal plan, and they have someone in human resources that puts the people in the right place for them to conduct their plan. there at the border, right? And then profit off of this criminal uh, activity at the border that puts so many people in jeopardy and makes their lives hell too on top of that. So Richard was forcibly removed. His body was stolen off of Fort Bliss um, after they took his life, and all of our evidence indicates, really confirms, it confirms that his body was taken into Mexico, and we believe that most likely organ harvesting and then dumping at the likes of Plenitude Crematorium. So that raid on that place was, well, we really appreciate it because now we're in the vicious negotiation of the repatriation of Richard's remains because we still don't have our son's remains. And you see what President Trump has to do in order to um, get our U.S. sovereignty back, right? To get our country back to the point where it's um, can sustain itself in all its glory that it once was, right? Um, just a beacon of freedom to the world, and that's why they took advantage of it because it was so wealthy, and we were so volunteer giving, very giving, and they became the evildoers. They impersonated Christians, and we know who was a huge part of this, with the cartel ties, with the Mexican organized criminals that are, they call themselves cartels, but I really don't like the word, like cartel, because the news has kind of put thuggy people, like tattooed thuggy people, in our eyes, so that's what we think of. But truly, these people are business people, politicians, narco politicians, very connected people, and that's why the picture that I put up of the Arellano Caron family, the purchase Arellano Caron family, is so important so that you see them in their tuxes, that you see them in all their stolen wealth, right? And ill-gotten wealth, ill-gotten wealth. Um, so that you understand that these are not, gang member, they put up, they are gang members, they are cartel, they are, but, it's not what, uh, for me anyway, it's not what the media wants you to picture. They don't want you to picture a politician, they don't want you to picture a business owner, an oil person, or especially if you're doing um, um, tarmac, right? Especially if you're doing tarmac, you need oil. And so we know that Cesar Paneche, the attorney general for Chihuahua, big cartel criminal, uh, because he was siphoning oil, right? They were siphoning oil. He wasn't siphoning oil, but his group, right? Um, it's wow. So let's go to the breaking news. The breaking news is that we have more tipsters reaching out to us, and one was very interesting because this person confirmed that uh, El Paso Inc. knew, like after a month after the Walmart mass shooting, that the Mayellas were very connected to Patrick Crucius, okay, and chose not to report on it. That is huge breaking news, y'all. Um, so to corroborate that even like the DA's office knew who the Mayellas were, knew their connections, um, big connections in the federal courthouse, in the DA's office, in the FBI's office, in Walmart security, right? Cybersecurity, and mental health. Um, right, and did not let us know and let Beto O'Rourke and Veronica Escobar push a false narrative that Patrick Crucius didn't know anybody in El Paso, didn't know the Mayellas, right? Didn't know that the Mayellas were right there when everyone knew that, because, of everything going on with the Mayellas, and their daughter planning a wedding in 2021 with Brian Blake Crucius, who is Patrick Crucius's brother. They knew it was a big deal in their circles, and now we have corroborating tipsters saying, "Oh yeah, El Paso Inc. knew about the Mayella's connection with Patrick Crucius and did not report it to the public." Wow, that's so criminal, y'all. That's so criminal. Um, and that the DA's office knew and did not report it. That's so criminal. So this is huge, multiples. So we know that other media news. So this is multiple news agencies, papers, online papers that knew about the Patrick Crucius, Michael Mayella connection and did not report on it and allowed, and this is before, right? So this is just after a month after, us. So this would be in September of 2019. So they knew that the plea deal was botched. They knew there was other evidence out there that needed to come forward before there was a plea deal or any kind of sentencing. And so the sentencing and everything is botched. That's how they operate. Maybe they did it on purpose to get Patrick Crucius out earlier or whatever. I don't know, but it seems like this is big information that could reopen up everything, right? Open up the whole case of the Walmart mass shooting, which it needs to be reopened, and done right. So, and El Paso Inc., we'll see. We're reaching out more for more information about El Paso Inc.'s knowledge of the Mayellas. And so, we'll see what comes back, right? So, that is huge news right there. This knowledge before the plea deal, before the sentencing, before, very early on where they could have absolutely, uh, made justice proud, but they didn't want to do that. They absolutely tampered. So this is showing a pattern that there's tampering everywhere in El Paso, just everywhere in all the institutions and agencies that we have dealt with have had some kind of form of tampering. I don't know um, if that's if that's normal, but I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. So I just want to say thank you to everybody on this Sunday coming on, and just keep praying and keep sharing because the news is just so staggering. Uh, Let me see if I have anything. Um, yeah, so I'm going to leave it at that for tonight because I think that concentrating on that the cartel have access to our narcotics intelligence database and that there is corroborating tipster that says El Paso Inc. and the DA's office knew in September of 2019 the connection between Patrick Crucius and the Mayellas, a very close connection between the two. I think that is huge information, and I think I'm going to leave it there. Um, oh, with the sonic boom. Okay, yeah. So I'm getting information about the sonic boom. And of course, I named it the sonic boom because I wanted to talk about the sonic boom because that's trending right now, right? The sonic boom is trending. This is not, this is what we wanted to make sure everyone knew. This is not a new weapon. This is not new technology. They have had this weapon, okay? They have had this weapon, and President Trump is making good use out of it, right? To get Maduro out. That is what we're being told, and what we know is true because Maduro is out right now, and the vice president, who is not never really friendly with President Trump, but I don't think President Trump cares. He's like, you just need to work with me and do your job, right? He just doesn't even care. He's, how admirable of him. Um, to, you know, to say, okay, um, just do the right thing. Just do the right thing. And so releasing the political prisoners was top of his list, and now he's bringing in all of the oil executives because there's lots and lots of oil in Venezuela, and I think our oil prices are going to go down quite a bit, and that will help our economy out a lot. This is very interesting what President Trump, how he's doing it. The sonic boom hurting the other side, but but being prepared for it. Our side didn't have uh, one lost um, service member. They all came back, and that is huge. That is really, for that kind of operation, that tells a lot about the training of these special forces. They're amazing, and it's like our experience at the old guard. Rob was chosen to be the physician assistant for the old guard for a year, and he really got to serve top notch individuals in our armed forces. So when I'm bashing generals and bashing compromised, cartel tied military operatives, um, that are against our country, by no means is it saying that we don't support our military and our country. Um, it's quite the opposite. We totally support. That's why we're doing this, because our service members' lives are at risk as long as these cartel tied infiltrators with the Mormon faction are allowed to do their evil deeds. And so we're exposing those evil deeds, and really praying for action on them. So thank you so much. The sonic boom, the main point was that this is not um, a new weapon. This is they've had it. And of course, it puts out a wave, a sound wave that makes your ears bleed, that makes your um it makes you get nauseous, but it won't kill you. It won't kill you. It'll just incapacitate you for a while, and long enough for Trump's team to extract President Maduro. So that's how they got President Maduro, and I think that's really important to mention. And thank you so much. God bless you.